Hello, everyone, and welcome to another edition of Lucky Days Astrology. And I'm Psychic Getty. And what we're doing on the show is once or twice a week, I'm going to be doing a free mini reading for somebody. And what that means is we're going to look at some of their strengths and natural talents and inclinations in their astrology chart. And then I'll give one or two time frames coming up in their future where I would say it's enhanced good luck and good fortune, a little bit of extra energy for things like new endeavors, or maybe if you want to play the lottery or that sort of thing, anything where you need a little bit of extra luck. So that's what I do in my mini reading. I also do professionally comprehensive readings, and in that we really go into a lot of detail in your astrology chart, in many areas of your life. I give you your lucky numbers. I look at 3 months ahead in your life, some fortunate periods of time, and then I can answer your questions psychically. So that's more comprehensive. I charge for that. If you're interested in either a comprehensive reading or submitting your name for a free mini reading, just send me your name and number or your name and email address to luckydaysastrology@gmail.com. Right now I'm pretty busy with readings, and I'm pretty busy with, I've got a list of people who want free mini readings, but I will get to you as quickly as I can, okay? So today we're going to do a reading for a guy named Mike, a friend of mine, and I looked at his chart, and basically one of the first things that I like to talk about, you're going to have to forgive me, I refer to my notes because I don't have one of these Memorex memories that a lot of people on YouTube have where they can talk for an hour and remember everything. I can't. One of the things I like to look for in an astrology chart is there a propensity in the chart for things like playing the lotto or gambling? Should somebody devote a lot of time to something like that? Because I know a lot of people are into that, a lot of people not so much. So kind of as a fun beginning, I like to look at that. And for Mike, I'd have to say probably not. And in a way, he's a lot like somebody I did a mini reading for last week, I believe, Denise, is we look at what's called in an astrology chart the fifth house. So if you imagine an astrology chart like a pizza with 12 slices, each slice represents something a little bit different. So we look at that fifth slice of the pizza or the fifth house to look at things like gambling and playing the lotto and that sort of thing. That doesn't mean you can't play it, but sometimes there's more of an inclination and sometimes less. But what I'm about to say about Mike, and keep in mind that, you know, even though in his chart, I really don't see an inclination towards consistently winning lotteries or consistently doing well at gambling. That doesn't mean he shouldn't, he can't do it for fun once in a while. But in his case, he has, the fifth house has Virgo on the cusp. And what that means is Virgo is a more cautious sign, and it's more of a reserved sign. So it's not a real buoyant, exuberant sign. That's something I would look for in the fifth house. And I'd also look for a kind of a lucky planet in the fifth house. He has Pluto there. Pluto is really more of an intense planet. It's not really a great planet for luck. So I would probably for him recommend not spending too much time at the casinos unless he really realizes that this is just fun money, and he might lose it. So he probably wants to go up to a casino with $5 instead of 150, something like that. But he has some other things in his chart that really give him, I think, some natural strengths and talents. First of all, he has what's on his ascendant. He has Gemini, and what an ascendant means is it's a part of the chart that sort of determines how people see him and often how he sees himself. Gemini is really kind of an intellectual, I call it the multitasking chart sign. And what that means is Mike is probably somebody who has an intellectual interest in a lot of different things, maybe technology or other things where he can multitask. So in other words, it's just not one thing that he does well or has an interest in. He can juggle multiple interests and multiple tasks. And that's the nice thing about Gemini. He has the planets Venus and Mars in his first house. And what that means, at least the way I would interpret it, is he's somebody who is aware of the things he likes and the things he wants, and is not afraid to go after them in kind of a bold way. And it also probably makes him somewhat charismatic and attractive to other people. There's just something about him that people say, I don't know what it is, but there's just something charismatic about Mike. I can't put my finger on it. But generally, when you have Venus and Mars together, it gives that quality. In women, it often gives great beauty. In his chart, it's in the first house, which has to do with maybe how people see him and how he sees himself. So he has a lot of confidence in terms of going after the things that he wants. He's got the planet Jupiter in his 12th house. Now, I'm going to see if I can find the words to explain this a little bit. The 12th house is the house of really deep, intense things pertaining to the unconscious or things below the surface. So the 12th house has to do with things like prisons, mental institutions, unusual dreams, unusual premonitions. When people have Mercury there, he doesn't, but sometimes I've seen the planet Mercury in people's charts in that house. They tend to have very prophetic dreams or premonitions. He has Jupiter there, so Mike is somebody who can really has a gift and talent for going deep below the surface and really uncovering and exploring deep, dark secrets of the mind, of human nature, of even things related to the paranormal. And actually, he might have a real gift for communicating that to other people, perhaps in a form of writing or some other medium. But he can explore that and then find a way to communicate that to other people so that they can understand it in an interesting way. Now, in terms of some lucky times coming up, he's in a lucky period right now. So, Mike, if you're watching this video, this is a good day to go out and get yourself a lotto ticket. What it is that the planet Jupiter in the sky is making a positive aspect to his planets to his planet Venus. So, oftentimes that just gives a good feeling, that extra boost of luck or energy for new endeavors or fun things. Now, what's happening with Jupiter is it's making that positive aspect to his Venus. Then, and as it's actually going backwards a little bit. So what happens with planets is they move forward, they stop, and then they go backwards a little bit. And sometimes they can go back and make several connections to the same sign as they're going back and forth. Now, oftentimes, if it's a negative aspect, you'll see people who are going through difficult times, and I can tell when that time is going to end based on when that planet starts moving back forward again. So goes forward, stops, moves backward, which is called a retrograde motion, and then moves back forward. So what's happening now with Mike and Jupiter is that Jupiter is moving backwards, and at some point it's going to turn around and move forwards again and make another aspect, another positive aspect to his Venus and Mars as well. And that is going to happen, I would say, about the second and third week in August are going to be lucky times for him, good times for him, times where if he's interested in starting a new endeavor or taking a trip or doing something that may need a little bit of extra luck for that risk, that'd be a really good time for him. So, Mike, that's your mini reading. And again, just send me your name and email address or name and phone number if you're interested in a comprehensive reading with me, or if you want to submit your name for a mini reading. So I do appreciate it. Thank you very much for watching. Take care.